in the store, and I was already mad at myself. Like, I was already talking some smack, you know, because I'm a penny pincher to the T. I don't want to be spending no money, man. And so I'm driving up there. We get off the car. We're already walking in, and I'm already thinking all these negativities. And as soon as we walk in, I'm like, oh, okay, the price. I'm like already thinking it's very organized. Everything's very labeled, you know, gluten-free, dairy-free, and whatnot. And then when I started comparing prices, because we had already hit up Walmart, we had already hit up H-E-B, I had already took prices on everything because I wanted to compare everything. Because I really want to help everybody in this HS community to understand, like, you know what, going gluten-free and dairy-free, one, it's going to help you because you're not going to have drainage all over your body. You're only going to be pooping and draining through your butt. I'm sorry. That's the only best way I can say it, you know. So it's going to be coming out the right way in the bathroom, not anywhere else in your body. But then I started looking at the prices and I'm like, all right, 10 cents difference, $1 difference. Then I saw stuff that I didn't find anywhere else. So I really can't compare the price, but it wasn't to the point where I was like, damn, I can't see myself paying that. But it was enough. It was good enough, you know, for what you're getting, especially if that's what your digestive system has. And so I posted these updates in the groups. And of course, I'm already waiting by morning. You know, when I wake up, I'm waiting for the older crowd to wake up and get sign on, you know. And of course, they start with their, you know, this is too much sugar. And, you know, if you take insulin and if you're a diabetic, and I'm like, hey, old timer. The information I'm sharing isn't for your diabetes. This isn't called diabetes support group. This is not called high blood pressure support group. This is called HS support. HS for this specific disease. So when I share something on these groups, it is not catered to you. It is catered to the HS community in general. I've done my research. I've sat there and I've dissected things down to the damn cranium of that damn item. So don't challenge me, because when you don't want to, when I ask you, hey, well, let's Zoom, let's go over your information, and you decline my offer, then shut up. Yeah, I said it, shut up. Because you know damn well you don't want to be proved wrong. And if you don't want to be proved wrong, well, then you skip my post and you move on. Because you don't want none of my tea. And you don't want to hear my facts. Because I've done my research to help my son have his life back. So, and I'm going to give that life back to all these other kids and these young adults who want life. So if you want to be margada, if you want to be miserable, if you want to live the way you live, I am not on your post. Whatever you post, whatever your status is, I'm just passing it up because you're irrelevant to me. Your health complications don't mean nothing to me. If you want to live like that, you stay like that. But for everybody else who does not want that life, I'm going to help you. Because you asked. If you ask on these groups, I need help, I need advice, I'm going to respond when I catch it. I'm going to take a screenshot of it and I'm going to circle back to it. And if you want the advice, great. Once I've given it to you, if you want to use it, awesome. And if you don't, that's fine. Because you know what? I have a lot of people coming back saying, thank you so much, Val. I can't believe this information has changed my life just by doing these changes. And now I can help my kid. I can help my grandkids. So yes, I acknowledge that there is no cure for this infection, illness, disease, whatever you want to call it. But it can be managed. It can be managed. And you can live pain-free. And that goes to my next story. So I talked to a young lady today because I saw her post. I don't know if it was this morning or if I saw it yesterday. And so she was talking about how she woke up and she's just really inflamed, you know. And I was like, man, I feel bad, you know. So I reach out to her. I'm like, hey, if you have time, I want to chat, you know, for a little bit. Get to see what you ate. So she's like, I haven't gotten out of bed. It was already going to be right before 12 o'clock. And I said, okay. I said, well, let's talk about what you ate last night. So that way, at least I know you haven't eaten nothing today. So we talked about what she ate last night. And sure enough, she ate pasta. And it had a gluten in it. And it had dairy in it. Because of she marinated it with something else. And then she had a bread. So we went over the bread that she had. Same thing. They were both, they both had wheat in it. Then we went over, dang, I forgot what the next thing was. Because I've had a few conversations after her. But after talking to her about what she had yesterday, she's like, wow, like, okay, it's gluten. And I said, yeah, it's gluten. And so then I started showing her. She's like, so then what, am I just going to starve? Alexa, stop. Sorry. So she's like, so am I going to starve? And I'm like, no. I said, I'm going to show you how you're going to eat. And so I start showing her examples of what's available. And she's like, oh my God, okay, great, you know. So then she starts, you know, a lot of the people that I talk to, they start opening up about their life, you know. And they talk about how, she said her mom and her other sisters, they all have HS, the entire family. And some of them are more severe than the other. And I said, I cannot speak about what's happened in the past, and I can't say why you may have it more aggressive than what your sister may have. I can only assume it's just the way that everybody was brought up. Like, for example, my mom. I'm going to throw her out there. So my mom had 4 kids, right? And so with me, I'm pretty sure she took care of me because I don't remember having any baby pictures of me having like silver teeth. You can see my teeth are crooked, but as far as like braces, that's different. I'm just saying, like, I don't remember having silver teeth in any like school pictures. So as her kids you should have more kids. Well, what do you do when you have more kids? You become a pro and you're like, I'm going to give my kid more candy because the first kid I was super cautious with, but I can see it didn't do nothing to her. So as you start having more children, the flexibility, or it's vice versa, you get more strict with what they eat, or you get more flexible with what they eat. I don't know. It's just everybody's different. But I know that when my other brother, he had silver teeth. So I'm going to assume that and I remember growing up, he had the ability to eat a bunch of more junk. So if your digestive system, because again, this is not a skin disease, this is a digestive system. If you can think all the way back with everybody, like with your sisters or your siblings or whatever the case may be, everybody's digestive system has gone through a different path. And us as adults, I've always tried to eat healthy. I'm one of those yo-yo dieters. I will go on one diet, out to another, or whatever. Where my sister, you know, she's never monitored what she's eaten, versus my brothers, they've never monitored what they've eaten. So as adults now, you know, all of our digestive system has gone through a different path in life. Is whole grain okay, or is that considered wheat? Check your ingredients. Because I have one that says whole grain, and when I look at it, it says no gluten or no wheat. So it should be fine, but I will always reference back to your ingredients, because the ingredients will tell you. Because some flours do have gluten and some don't. I don't know why, but that's just the way I have to explain it, because the ingredients are going to be different. Because somebody else just made something and they were showing me their ingredients, and it had flour in it, but it was wheat free. So everything's made different, so always double check ingredients. And so I was explaining to that young lady. And I said, I'm sorry, you know, I don't know how everybody's in the digestive system. Everybody's just going to be different. You know, some people eat spicy food growing up versus I don't like spicy food, never have. So I don't know, their digestive system may be processed a little bit different. So anyways, what got to me is the fact that, she was telling me that her mom had surgery, you know, and for those of you who have HS, and for those who've been in contact with me, I did explain, you know, we have these glands. We have 2 types of sweat glands. We have one, for those that are not familiar with sweat glands, we have one where if we go running or jogging or do vigorous work, just sweating in general. You know, I'm a sweater. I sweat around my face. We all sweat. You get sweat on your shoulders, on your face, on your back, on your chest, everywhere. So those are just regular sweats with just sugar and water. Has no odor, nothing of that case. Then you have a different sweat gland. These are your fat bacteria sweat glands. Those are in your underarms. They're by your groin or in your private areas. They're in your inner buttocks. They're in your belly button. And yeah, that's where they're at. So if you ever sweat in those areas, and if you ever really zoom in and look in the mirror, you'll see it, because I had to test it out to look at it myself, and it's going to sound gross, but I had to do it because it's part of research, right? And in those sweat glands, you'll see that there's little itty bitty pieces of white spots very near your skin. And if you wear deodorant, you'll probably see it look white. But if you ever get it and squash it, it has like a very foul odor. Well, that's why we wear deodorant, you know, because those are our little bacteria that our body releases, you know, the toxins in our body. So we get those around our anus. And so the mom had surgery around her anus to close up one of these holes, which is what we call tunnels. And if you don't change the way you eat, then these holes don't close, for one. These surgeries don't heal the way they're supposed to heal. And so her mom has been still recovering ever since then. And she said that her mom is actually in a more worse condition than before her surgery. And that hurts to hear. Because it's like, damn, you know, like, had I found this information that I know now, I could have. I know I can't help everybody. I know I can't. But I try to catch it. And I'm just happy that I got my son. Because I was initially, what I did this for was my son. But to hear what her mom goes through, it breaks my heart. And I told her, I told her everything I had to tell her. And I said, look, what I'm giving you today in your phone, go to your mom's house, go to your sister's house, show them everything I've shared with you. And do it together as a family. Talk about your progress. I said, because everybody gets HS at a different time of their life. They all get triggers for whatever reason at different moments of different situations. I don't know. But everybody will heal the same. There is no difference in that. Because the women that I've already been helping and the feedback that I'm getting back from these other countries. And it's funny because the other countries, like the people who reach out to me from other countries, they ask me, and there is no like questioning what I've told them. It's like, you tell me, I'm going to do it. It's crazy. And so I tell them, and then by the third or fourth day, they're like, I did it. I saw progress. Thank you. And then they're out. I'm like, all right, thank you. Come again, you know. And then you have the people here, you know, that are, and they're like, no, I'm not. I've always eaten dairy. I've always eaten this. I've always eaten that. And I'm like, look, I'm not trying to convince you. If you want to stay the way you are, hey, go for it. Just tell me to get lost, because I will get lost. I have no problem bouncing, because I'll go to the next person. But for the people who have tried it, it's like, man, I'm so glad I met you. Where the heck were you 15 years ago? And it makes me feel good. Because it's like, all right, thank you for confirming. That's another confirmation. Because I'm going to continue on to the next inbox. And the next inbox. So this lady earlier, just a minute ago, she upset me. I don't even know why I let these people get mad at me. Or I let them get under my skin But they kind of do, because it's like, I don't want other people to read her comment and assume that, man, I really can't get that help, because you can. And so last night, my boyfriend helped me create a YouTube channel, right?